Matthew 10:34-36. Do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's foes will be those of his own household. In Matthew, Jesus spoke challenging words that can be easily misunderstood when taken out of context. Some have used this passage to argue for Jesus supporting violence, but historically, no early Christian writers interpreted it that way. Some proponents of a revolutionary Jesus have seized upon this saying as evidence that he was sympathetic to, and perhaps even supportive of, violent revolution. But no. That isn't true. Jesus preached love, not violence. He knew that his message would cause division and even cost some their lives. The passage warns of the division that Jesus' message brings, even among families and nations. St. Augustine and St. Hildegard offered explanations for this quote. They described the sword mentioned as the Word of God, which brings division and separates believers from sin and unbelief. Jesus' words can also be understood as renouncing worldly ties and calling believers to separate from wicked society. Jesus warned his disciples to expect persecution and advised them to be wise and harmless. He assured them that God's love and care would sustain them through their trials. Believers should fear God, not man, and boldly proclaim their faith. Ultimately, those who endure suffering for Christ will be rewarded. True Christians follow the way by embodying the teachings of Christ in their actions and attitudes. They strive to live out the values and principles that Jesus taught, rather than just professing belief with words alone. This requires a genuine transformation of the heart and a commitment to love and serve others selflessly. One example of following the way is through acts of compassion and kindness. Jesus emphasized the importance of loving one's neighbor and caring for those in need. True Christians seek to imitate Christ's love by reaching out to the marginalized, feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, and visiting the sick and imprisoned. They understand that their faith should be demonstrated through practical acts of love and service. Another example is forgiveness and reconciliation. Jesus taught the importance of forgiving others and seeking reconciliation. True Christians strive to let go of grudges, extend forgiveness to those who have wronged them, and actively work towards healing broken relationships. They understand that forgiveness is not just a one-time act, but an ongoing process that requires humility and grace.
Incorporating the saying often attributed to Saint Francis, preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary use words, true Christians recognize that their actions can speak louder than words. This ideal can be further seen by his rule of 1221, that all the friars should preach by their deeds. They understand that their lives should be a reflection of their faith and that their behavior can either draw others closer to Christ or push them away. They strive to live in a way that consistently reflects the love, mercy, and grace of Jesus, so that their actions become a powerful testimony of their faith. Should we not do the same? In summary, true Christians follow the way by actively living out the teachings of Christ through acts of love, compassion, forgiveness, and reconciliation. They understand that their faith should be demonstrated through their actions and that their lives should be a testimony of the transformative teachings of the gospel.
The Way, a closed martial arts system, also known as the Red Friars, an independent Catholic martial arts system.